you'll know that the timing chains are not in the front, they're actually on the back. All right, so here we have the dreaded timing chain job in a Audi or Volkswagen 3.0 engine. This is a supercharged motor out of a 2015 Audi Q5. The timing chain started to make noise and the customer pulled the plug and they said, hey, let's get it done. We actually checked the data through the measure value blocks and it was around 3.5, which is like the very limit of where you want to be without having any issues or timing jumping and bending valves. This engine, the timing chain, it's all on the back of the motor. There's no chains on the front, so you have to drop everything out, separate the transmission, and then service the timing chain. We're gonna do new chain tensioners, new chains, new guides, everything new just to make it last. We're also gonna be doing a decarb service on this car using the B12 that a lot of people are using because this engine was also suffering from oil consumption. So we want to go ahead and get that stuff taken care of. So finally got access to the back cover and being able to see the chains themselves. You can see right here, this guide, it's already starting to come apart. It's gone. And this is causing the rattle noise. This guy's coming off. This guy right here for this tensioner is completely gone. It's just metal to metal right now. So this causes a lot of slack and noise. If you can see this side, compare, this is the passenger side. There's a guy right here that's still intact. So this side, it's not as bad. So see, this is how that guy is supposed to look like. That's where most of the noise was coming from, but we're gonna replace all these chains and all these guides and put them new. There was a tricky bolt right here. See if you can see it. Right under this pipe that I couldn't see, and it was holding the whole back cover in place. And then from the inside, from the front to the back, there's this bolt right here, which I couldn't see at first either. So I had to remove the alternator from the front, and then I was able to get these bolts from the front of the engine to get it off, which is something I didn't know. It's not the bolt for the starter. It's a separate bolt that holds just the cover from the front backwards. Also, I removed the supercharger, and I got the valve covers opened up. Valve covers are open this side because we have to put the engine on top that center, and the cam tools go in here to lock it in place. We're gonna be doing the decarb also treatment, the B12. So I'm gonna soak those cylinders overnight and let it sit. All right, so I've got the engine right now on top that center with the lock pin. So the lock tool for the crank goes down here. You can see it right there. And then I have the cams with the tools also in the lock position on both sides. Bank 1 and bank 2. Now we're gonna proceed. There's also a pin that goes here for the balance shaft, but the toolkit I got for the timing chains didn't bring that pin. So basically I just put kind of like a bolt on here that goes in there, but you know, that would kind of tell me if it's off one tooth or not, you know. But right now the pin goes through in, and I know it's where it needs to be. Right now we're just gonna proceed to start by removing the oil pump chain with the balance shaft chain. So this is the first, farther out chain. Remove this chain, and then we're gonna start removing the other chains. We're gonna change all of them. We're gonna change this chain, the camshaft chains, both sides, and then the intermediate chain as well. Should have everything here for it. The other thing is there is a mark right here that points to this window. This is your range for verifying your timing mark. So right here it has that, so it's within that range. And then this side, where is it? Right here. Right here is the next mark, and you see that it's within that range. Same thing on both sides. So that's something to look for. Make sure that the timing is where it needs to be. So I already verified that side, and then here's the range. So also when we go back, when we put everything back, it needs to match. So right now I'm gonna mark all the sprockets with the cam gears to their side. That way, even if for some reason they get mismatched or they get moved around, we, will know which side they go on, and then everything can go back to the same side that they were on. That's critical, and that's super important to make sure it gets done that way. All right, so finally got all the chains off with the cams, with the cam sprockets and the gears. You can see now all the intermediate chains are removed, and also the oil pump chain. I got stuck here a little bit because there is this one just like this that goes on this side, intermediate chain. I couldn't figure out how to get it off because I didn't see anything on the instructions of how to lock that gear to break that bolt loose. But the gear spins on a bearing, so like you see it here moving, and the center stays positioned. So when I realized that, I said, oh, there's no need to lock it in place because the bolt goes straight into the block. So I was able to get that off and now get all the chains out. You can see here how especially on the driver's side, the left side, the um the guide had broken off and it was already wearing into the metal. So this is where the most wear is, on this chain, on this side right here. Um, and the guides themselves, they were pretty brittle. They were just like coming apart. So I was taking them off. Same thing on this side. But it looks like on the upper timing chains, these are the ones that get the most beating. These outer upper timing chain gears. This came out to apart. We're gonna be changing this. Yeah, it goes right here. Like that. There's a spring in there. This piece. I left everything pretty much kind of how I got it out. I wanted it to be able to match the chain length. That's why I kept them with their particular mechanism so that I can match the length of the chains as I'm assembling back. So also I think the best time to clean all this silicone from everywhere, it's now. Now that all the guides are off and the chains are off, so there's more room to get into like the tighter spots, like up here and also like on the side without the gears and everything. And that way also the stuff that falls down, like the residue of the sealant, won't get on the new chains, and also it won't get on the new guides and tensioners. So that will be the next step now. It would be to clean all the sealant, prep the surface for the timing cover, and then once this is all nice and clean, then I will start to put back on the new chains with the new guides and tensioners. So here it is, all the new parts installed. We've got new chains, new tensioner, the water oil pump tensioner as well. Same thing on this side, new tensioners with new guides. You can see all the new ones here. A lot of these bolts need to be, they're one-time use bolts, they cannot be reused. The tensioner bolts are reusable, and that to me was the part that took the longest, because a lot of bolts, basically I needed to wait for them to arrive. Some of them are one-time torque-to-yield bolts, some of their other ones are aluminum bolts, especially for the front cover. Here's the front cover, it's nice and clean already. I got all the silicone out of the grooves, and these are new seals. So one seal, two seal, third seal here. These other ones take silicone to reseal the back. Another part that the instructions will tell you, the manual, is this dowel pin right here. Normally it would look like that, but when you are assembling the back cover with the heads on, it tells you to cut this at an angle. You can see it here. Do that at an angle so that the cover goes in easier with the head spin in place without having to remove the head. So that's a big plus. I already test fitted the cover without sealant to make sure that it goes on smooth, no issues. And so now I'm gonna put sealant on the cover and get it back on here. But everything is stored. These bolts here need to be replaced. These are not reusable. However, these bolts are reusable. And this tensioner and this tensioner, these need to be replaced. These are one-time torque-to-yield bolts. This right here, there's 4 of these need to be replaced as well. They're one-time torque-to-yield bolts. And yeah, but everything else on the back is new. I already spun the engine several times. All the pulleys basically lined up except for this. They don't fall back in place after 2 revolutions, but this goes back in place. And the other ones too lined up. So this is the balance shaft right here. go back up into the car and hopefully get this thing started and running. And what we're gonna do is when I start it now, I'm going to do an engine flush. So I'm gonna do I haven't changed the filter. It still has the original filter. I'm gonna put new oil with an engine flush from Liquid Moly. We're gonna run the engine with that for about like 15 to 20 minutes. Let it get up to temperature. Thermostat open up and just circulate all the oil through, so that we can get a lot of the carbon deposits that were flushed during the decarb process to go into the oil and also through the filter. And then we're gonna drain the oil again and put a new filter. Then we're gonna fill it up again with the oil that we're gonna leave in the engine to run it, for the 5,000 miles service interval. It's something that we're gonna do. That's the procedure to just get the engine cleaned up very well and get everything good. We also changed the O-rings for the cam adjuster solenoid valves. So those are gonna be, they were starting to sweat a little bit and leak. So it's trying to address all those little issues that it has. And now let's go back together. So this is the first attempt at getting this engine started. It's 11:30 o'clock at night on a Friday. This is how bad I want to get this car out of my life. I'm done with it. I already primed it once. I started with no plugs in it just to get the oil pressure up and get the tensioners to load. All the noises went away and then it was spinning nice and smooth. I put the spark plugs back in and we're gonna now fire for the first time. I also have an oil in there that I'm gonna be draining with an engine flush additive as well. So we're gonna let that run for about 15 minutes, let all the gunk and stuff flush through the system, and then we're gonna do a legitimate oil change with a new filter and everything. So let's see how it starts, and fingers crossed. There you go. Started. Sounds nice and smooth so far. Fill it chopped up with smoke. I've got the exhaust fan running, but let it clear out. It lives. Doing the second oil change right now, so everything went well. No leaks underneath. The engine is running good. No fault codes either. We scanned it for codes. So now I already drained the initial oil that I put in with the engine flush, and I changed the filter. I make sure to clean the filter cartridge really good. It has some debris from the timing chain tensioner, a little bit of metal shaving. So I cleaned that very good with brake cleaner. And I also saw the oil residue left in the filter housing with a vacuum. It's nice and clean, trying to get most of that gunk out of it, and also the engine flush as well. So now I'm just going to add the new Liquid Moly 540 oil. Sounds good. Chains are nice and quiet. No rattle sound. Before, if you would start it after doing an oil change, it would make a huge rattle sound on the cold start right before the oil pressure build up and the tensioners kicked in. Now it's just like nothing ever happened. Right now there's no air filter or the air intake hose, and the supercharger sounds super loud. Check it out. Let me rev it up. That's it, guys. Going home for the day. Good enough to make good progress, and just gotta come back and finish some details and then go take it for a test drive. Cheers.